Just a quick one there, Bay, on what he was saying. If you look at the Champions League places, historically they're filled by the same 6 clubs. Leicester had to win the Premier League to back that trend. I think David Moyes got Everton in the top 4. They were knocked out in Champions League qualifiers by Villarreal. But apart from that, I can't recall too many occasions in recent years where the top 4 haven't been filled by the 2 Manchester clubs, by Chelsea, by Liverpool, by Arsenal, or by Tottenham. Is Brendan Rodgers, in some ways, a victim of his own success?
Yeah, I mean, listen, like you said, and it's the same. I don't watch Leicester all the time. So, if they came up and said, look, it just got stale, and like Ambrose said, it just needs a new energy, a new face, some new voices, then fair enough. But to say that because they were well ahead in 2 seasons and then fell short, I mean, it looks like he's a victim of his own success. Winning the FA Cup, and I know, listen, they won the league, again, great story. Won the FA Cup, great story. Finishing 5th. For me, we discussed this a couple of weeks back, in a sense, in regards to, not entitlement, that's the wrong word, but expectations. And maybe the expectations coming in. And before Leicester fans jump on it and say, oh, look, we want to win, we want to be better, I'm not saying that.
We're going to get hammered because we don't watch Leicester every week. Of course, and they will say that we are part of the Brendan Rodgers fan club. We bought into his PR. I'm not one of those, actually. When he was being touted for Manchester United, I didn't want him as the next Manchester United manager.
Yeah, you wanted Conte.
I don't think he's an elite level manager. Do I think he'd be good enough to go to a club like Spurs and improve them? I mean, Clyde, to agree with Darren Ambrose, I think he would.
Go on, Ambrose, you can jump on that.
I think he would, and I'm saying that because you look at the first couple of years he had at Leicester. He did improve them, won the FA Cup, come 5th twice with a team. And I know the caller Glenn said that we were dropping points. Who wasn't dropping points in those 2 seasons? Yeah. Apart from the top 2, apart from the Man Cities and the Liverpools of the world, on those occasions, everyone was dropping points.
Liverpool dropped hella points and in that COVID team.
Well, they still are.
It's not a spoiled mentality. I'm not saying that, but in terms of a victim of his own success, yes, I think that after the top 5 finishes, he finished 8th, and for a Leicester City, that's still a good season. 8th in the Premier League, that's a good season. It was 1 out of the European Conference place. I don't know if it was going then, but it would be now. It's just been poor at the moment. It needs a new voice, and they've made the call. They could have made this too late, by the way, but what we want to hear now is instead of saying, yeah, they've made the call 15 months too late, who comes in then? Who comes into this team and gets more out of the players that are there now to keep them in the division?
Well, the information that we have at talkSPORT is that Rafa Benitez is a contender. I know he is. I know he's been desperate to get back into work. I think he would be keen, actually, if David Moyes was to leave West Ham to go into that job. So I think he has to be taken seriously. Ange Postecoglou has been mentioned to me as somebody that Leicester admire. I would be amazed if he was willing to walk away from Celtic mid-season when they're just about to win the SPL title. Thomas Frank, he has admirers in the Leicester boardroom. Again, I don't see him leaving Brentford for a relegation battle at this stage. So it could be, much like Crystal Palace have done with Roy Hodgson, much like Southampton have done with Ruben Selles, they might be looking here, Leicester, for an interim manager until the end of the season when maybe one of their more fancied names becomes available. They've got 10 games to go, Leicester. They're in the relegation places. Historically, if you change your manager this late in the season, there's more chance you get relegated than you stay up. So Leicester fans, is it actually a risk to fire Brendan Rodgers now? And answer Darren Ambrose's question. Who do you want to come in? 03717 22 3344 is the number. Want to hear from West Ham fans as well. Lots of pressure on David Moyes going into that 1-0 win over Southampton. Has he done enough to convince you that he is the right man to keep you in the Premier League? You can text us 81089. You can tweet at talkSPORT.